The term spirituality or being spiritual is used quite frequently. But what exactly does it mean? Does spirituality mean doing yoga, meditation, being religious, growing a beard, banging on a tambourine, sacrificing all the pleasures and moving to the Himalayas? Before I proceed, let us just agree on what spirituality is. Being spiritual is just a fancy word used to imply being a good human, feeling content, and also having wonder about existence, a thinker, someone who doesn't gain ultimate pleasure in consuming worldly things. And it has nothing to do with belief in any supreme power or following any faiths. I wonder if a person is born spiritual or becomes one after experiencing life. When one wonders, ponders, travels, reads amazing thoughts by amazing minds, meets people, and then when one goes within rather than out. Can spirituality be taught? I mean, there are spiritual organizations in India. They claim to teach spirituality. For a lump sum of money, of course. Yes, spirituality is sold. Ironical? Pretty much. These organizations have a head called a guru. I've heard it many times that one needs a mentor if they are on a spiritual journey. And that belief is one important reason as to why people follow gurus. So does one really need to follow a guru to understand the higher picture or to be spiritual? Or we are simply following an age-old belief without questioning it? Let's see what gurus provide. Gurus teach meditations, which were invented long back by yogis. These days, amazing meditations are easily available on various apps. But before that, following some breathing techniques might be meditation for some. For many, it's just a hype. Because they get into a meditative zone, that is, they become aware of their breathing and of the present moment and reach a state of harmony through other mediums and activities. For example, when they swim, paint, or when they are observing nature, or when they are coding. So which organization provides the best meditation? I think it's the self-organization. Gurus teach yoga. It's just a type of exercise and we can learn it from anywhere. Yoga is not the best form of exercise by itself, by the way. Also, doing yoga and some breathing techniques might provide mental peace, but they have no connection with being spiritual. Because it would mean people who have no exposure to both are materialistic or superficial, which isn't the case. Gurus teach wisdom from old scriptures. Well, we can read it ourselves in books. Books are the biggest gurus. They are available everywhere. I read Selfish Genes when I was in India and Mula Madhyama Karika when in California. Also, is it only the old scriptures that give us a sense of higher picture? Is that the only wisdom? As a human race, we have progressed so much and are finding so much more about existence to what is consciousness. So the new knowledge has no wisdom? Can science give us a sense of higher picture? Reading books like Pale Blue Dot and The Sun's Heartbeat were the most humbling experience for me than all the gurus that I visited in the past. And I know that books and reading science in particular does that to many people. And gurus also help people in their day-to-day issues because life is about pain as much as about pleasure. But now we have psychologists who are certified people who we can see for our personal issues. And personally, I have seen people ask gurus extremely lame questions like, oh, can I take this job? Or who should I marry? You don't have people around you to discuss these kinds of simplistic issues. Why do you need a crutch called a guru to make decisions for you? What is the use of all of your education then? I mean, most gurus do not have to worry about a job or marriage. So why would you depend on someone like that for those questions? What do they know? At least ask the experienced. So what is it that the guru provides again? They provide some mystique concepts, namely Kundalini, enlightenment, blessing people, quantum healing. As a human being, it is true that we do not understand ourselves and the world. This state of not knowing can be naturally confusing and painful. But this does not mean that we should fill up this confusion with flamboyant speculations and pseudoscience. And yes, there is enlightenment. It is the state you were in before you were scammed by the self-proclaimed enlightened masters. Just saying. And the gurus also claim that they know the ultimate truth. If you ask them, can you tell us the ultimate truth? Then they will tell you to find it yourself. And that they are just the guides. So basically, we are taking their word for it that they know whatever they know. Now, this might sound a little irrelevant, but I'm getting to a point. There are perfectly fit people who believe that either they are dying or are dead or have parts of the body missing. It is called Cotard's syndrome. And similarly, people might believe anything, that they are enlightened or a messenger of God. And yes, there is one more possibility, that they are liars and megalomaniacs. I often wonder if a spiritual person would really look for money, reverence, and make ignorant claims that they know the ultimate truth. And if they do, then why don't they just tell that to the poor scientists and make their lives easy once and for all? Why don't people see the weirdness of companies selling 1-day course to moksha, 1-hour course to learn to bless others, a 3-day course to advance spirituality? Spirituality is a journey and not a product that can be bought at a supermarket. And it's okay if you want to try the product, but at least don't give a God status to the salesman. But gurus do get a God status because they provide miracles. A devotee of a guru has written a book that she called her guru on the phone during the Mumbai Taj attack, and the guru already knew that she would call and knew how to escape the place. Now the point is, if he's so powerful, then why didn't he save everyone and even one step ahead? Why didn't he stop the whole thing from happening in the first place? Is there a possibility that the story was fabricated or imagined by the devotee in a panic situation? Why don't people ask these kinds of questions? How do we, even in the year 2022, believe in miracles? Well, I'm coming to that. There are people who claim that they have seen miracles, gods, ghosts, and an aura around their guru's head and whatnot. I've said this in another video, but I'm going to repeat it here, that our brain sends more signals to our eyes than what our eyes send to our brain. So isn't there a possibility that these people believe in these concepts so much so that the brain has already created that image and sent it to their eyes, and it's not the other way around? You know, there are some blind people who obviously cannot see anything. So if there is a wall in front of them, they don't see it and will bump into it. But they adamantly claim that they can see, even though the evidence proves that they cannot see a thing. This is called Anton's syndrome. So what do these people claim to see? Well, they don't see what is around them. Whatever they see is all in their own head. In their own head. I hear a ringing sound that no one else does. No one from the outer world is trying to contact me. It is just my own brain wiring, and the condition is called tinnitus. I think you get the gist of what I'm trying to say, that people might have issues. And the miracles that they claim to have seen or heard has happened in their own head. Also, some people are into substance use and they hallucinate. So why do people announce it to the world that they have seen gods and auras and add to ignorance? Because rather than accepting a faulty occurrence in their own brain functioning and questioning their own brain, they would rather showcase themselves as someone special who has witnessed things that no one else has. And people say, oh Rasika, this is not some intellectual foo-foo discussion. Obviously not. We cannot have a logical discussion about some cuckoo episode that you experienced in your own head. I haven't named any gurus in this post because it is not about the gurus. And I also wouldn't name them unless I have bodyguards. Well, you never know their reach, and I'm being honest. Gurus will come, they will go. But it is about the belief in the concept of a guru and Vyakti Puja, meaning worshipping a person. Beliefs are completely blind. And I would like to share an experience that there is this high-profile guru who conducted mass meditation event in India, claiming that if so many people meditate at the same time, it will bring world peace. The event tickets were for some 20,000-30,000 rupees at that time, and you can imagine the kind of business it brought to the city, as thousands of devotees from all over the world came for the event. And people actually believed that after the event there was going to be world peace. And I pointed out to one of the devotees I know that the Syria war happened right after the event. This devotee got extremely angry and stopped talking to me until I said sorry. I obviously wasn't sorry, but I said it anyways. I wouldn't do that kind of a thing now. So, through this post, if I've hurt your spiritual sentiments, then so be it. But the point is, people react a certain way or they shut down when we question their beliefs. If mass meditations can bring world peace, then the freedom fighters fought for nothing. These kinds of events bring peace to only one place, which is the Guru's organization. I was wondering, why is it that people do not think rationally? Is it just the lack of knowledge or thought, or is it their confirmation bias that they are unable to shake off? Or is it because they want to please the rest of humanity who believes in unscientific traditions and so they join the bandwagon? There are definitely some like me who try things out because of peer pressure. You know, my book Finding Nikki got published, and it is a story of a girl who fights her bullies, but it also is a story of her family who is heavily involved in a guru and pressurized the children to be part of it too. And I absolutely wanted to show the reality of every other Indian family. And I have also tried to show how many kids today are striving to understand and also challenge the ideas such as spirituality, religions, faiths, and beliefs. I feel kids should not be bullied into following beliefs because there is a chance that they are smart enough to think. Just saying. Rationalists look upon education which promotes scientific temper and rational thinking as an antidote to social backwardness. But the substantial following that the Guru's command is not from the illiterate masses, but from the well-educated middle class that tends to celebrate the irrational in the name of culture. And you will see doctors, IIT, Stanford graduates, and highly educated people being part of these organizations and following gurus. Does our education system teach us to be rational? I don't think it does. And if it isn't education that makes people turn towards rational thinking, then what does? While you think about that, I want to recommend a few short films and documentaries for you to watch. They were shocking and eye-opening for me. There is this very interesting short film about a boy, Vikram Gandhi, who grew a long beard and a ponytail, exchanged his shoes for sandals, and started wearing orange robes. Then he moved to Arizona, hired an expert to teach him yoga and a PR woman to promote him as a guru, and began to attract followers all around the town. His teachings were talk of inner blue lights, finding the guru within, and chants of some fabricated mantras. Kumare's followers believed him without any questions. They shared their deepest secrets with him and visibly appeared to benefit from him. Obviously, it's just a placebo effect. Kumare is a story of every single guru and every single follower in the world. It is available on YouTube and you can find its link in the description of this video. You must have heard about the man who brought the practice of hot yoga to the United States. He garnered a cult-like following and then used his power to prey on the women who took his classes. Some of his former students came forward to accuse him of rape, sexual assault, and harassment. I mean, it is not surprising, most gurus are predators. And even after knowing this, some of his yoga practitioners continue to be his devotees. And the worst part is, he's still teaching yoga courses. And you can check out the documentary Bikram on Netflix. And you can see one more classic example of the business of spirituality in the documentary Wild Wild Country. It is about Rajneesh, who was a popular spiritual guru. It is a story that involves free love, land use disputes, abuse of power, attempted murder, mass poisoning, and this is only the tip of the iceberg. Wild Wild Country is available on Netflix. You might remember another god man who produced gold from his mouth and from thin air. I mean, if a person who produces gold from his mouth, this should be your first clue to not follow the person, correct? But no. Scientists to celebrities followed him. He was a sexual predator. Many young boys came forward with complaints. No action was taken. Even politicians were seen at his feet. And throughout the scandal, his popularity remained intact. And I wondered, are people naive or they just desperately want to believe in something? And this is another example that gurus are frauds, but the followers are foolish. And you can watch the documentary Secret Swami on YouTube. And the last recommendation is Religulous by my favorite, Bill Maher. Religulous means the ridiculous character of a religious concept. And it has nothing to do with organizations and gurus, but with how ridiculous beliefs are. It is available on HBO Max. I hope you like these recommendations and do share in the comments section what you think about spirituality. I will see you soon in my next video.